Hello everyone, so this is GS Mains Paper 3, July 2017, and this is the fourth part. Now I was thinking today that I will not think about time from now onwards, right? Whatever time it takes. I will mostly think about the quality which I am providing, right? Quality of material and quality, whether I'm able to explain everything nicely or not, whether you people are getting it or not, right? Plus I have to talk a little about myself. In the end, I will talk, but let's not start the fourth part, right? Okay. So the first topic is public investment and infrastructure. So see what is happening. So there is a sluggish global growth, right? So the thing is, we had a crisis around in 2007 to 2009 was a period when economic crisis was going on, global financial crisis was going on. Thankfully, India was not affected. But there were different states, there were different European countries as well as America, which was affected. Now the thing is, still they are, so they have, what do you say, they have got out of that particular crisis, but they are still suffering from it. The growth is still not at that level, which India and China is, means what do you say, is having, right? India and China is having around 7% and more than 7% growth rate, right? This particular economic survey has said that our lower limit of growth is 6.75, whereas our upper limit of growth is 7.5. So let's talk about this particular topic. So what this particular topic is saying. So this particular topic is saying is that sluggish global rate should prompt India to look inward, right? So because nothing is happening outside, or very less thing is happening outside regarding this economic scenario, so we should look inward. We should look at investment inside our country. So sluggish global growth should prompt India to look inward at augmenting public investment to spur demand, right? So see, there are four things: public investment, private investment, public demand, private demand, right? So generally what happens, if you want your country to grow, you should focus more on private investment and public demand, right? But right now what is happening is we are focusing more on public investment and private demand. Now, our infrastructure is unique in that spending on it raises aggregate demand, and when it actually comes on stream, it raises productivity of investment elsewhere in economy. So what does it mean? That public investment where? If you are investing, if public government is investing, so where it will invest? So it will invest in infrastructure. And so remember, when we are talking about infrastructure, it is a metaphor for roads and bridges, right? And what it means, if you are investing on infrastructure now, it has a spillover effect. It has a chain kind of effect. It affects different things, right? So yeah. So roads and bridges is a metaphor for public infrastructure that Indian economy can fruitfully absorb today. So right, so we still need to construct more roads and more bridges, right? So this last mile connectivity is the thing which we need to ensure somehow, right? India is a big country, diverse country. There's a lots and lots of scope for public investment as well as private investment, right? Okay. Now let's move on to the next topic, that is camera traps. Now what is camera traps? Where is it used? It is used for, and it was used for estimating tigers population. So camera traps is a method to get an estimate of India's tiger population. Now there is a leading tiger conservationist whose name is K. Ullas Karnath, and he has said that we are the 10th largest economy in the world. What is the number? 10th largest economy in the world. And we should not have at least, and we should have at least 5,000 to 10,000 tigers, and we should not pat our back with 3,000. Right now we are having around 3,000 tigers, so we should not pat our back. Why? We should aim for 5,000 to 10,000 tigers. And why tigers are important? Because tigers are something called umbrella species, right? So if you're conserving tiger, you're conserving everything which is beneath that particular ecosystem. We'll talk more about it when we'll talk the environment portion. Okay, just remember right now that tiger is an umbrella species, right? Very critical. So let's move on to the next topic, which is Gorkhaland Banam Bengal. See, I have written Bengal. It is actually Bengal, but we have written Bengal. Why? Because when you go to these regions, that is Darjeeling, Siliguri, so they, in Bengali, they speak Bengal. It is Bengal, right? In English, we say Bengal, right? Whatever. So now what is happening here? See, remember one word. The word is linguistic imperialism. In a diverse country like India, linguistic imperialism should not rule or should not happen, right? So now what is happening in Darjeeling, Siliguri or Kalimpong areas, there are posters of Gorkhaland Banam Bengal, right? In English it means Gorkhaland versus Bengal around Darjeeling area, and it is a very sorry state. It should not happen like this. And why has it happened? Because West Bengal government forcefully tried to, what do you say, impose Bengali language on those people, right? They are saying they speak Nepali, they speak English, they even speak Hindi. So why are you forcing Bengali on them? So that is the whole scenario, right? Linguistic imperialism. We should stay away from it, right? That is not good at all for a diverse country like India. So that is the whole thing. Let's move on. Let's move on to the next issue, that is farming issues and remunerative price. Now this topic is important. Remember, whenever you're reading any topic, you should understand what is remunerative price and what is the difference between remunerative price and MSP, that is minimum support price. So I will try to explain it. This is a very tricky term, critical term, but you need to understand the difference. So let's talk about this issue. And farming issue, it will come again and again, because in GS mains paper 3 there are at least 3 to 4 subtopics which are directly or indirectly related with farming issues. And you all people are aspiring civil servants, right? So you need to understand what all things are going on at the grassroots level. Okay. Now, strengthening the repayment capacity of farmers by improving and stabilizing their income is the only way to keep them out of distress. So there should be a mechanism which could ensure stable income for farmers. Now remember one thing. Now we were talking about different facts. Keep on noting all these facts. See, whenever you are watching any video or any audio, make notes. Make notes from anywhere and everywhere. That will help you in last minute revision. Lots of toppers will say that they have not made any notes. Maybe they are gods. It's up to them, right? But we are normal human beings, right? So we have to make notes. Please make notes, right? That will help you. So remember these facts. 85% of operational land holdings in India is below 5 acres, right? We have small land holdings as opposed to what US and Canada have in prairies, right? So 85% of operational land holding is below 5 acres, and more than half of the area under cultivation does not have access to irrigation, right? That means it is rain-fed, right? Now, sustainable solution to indebtedness and agrarian distress is to raise income from agricultural activities and enhance access to non-farm sources of income as well, right? Now, other major source of increase in farmer income is remunerative price for farm produce. Now, I will tell you the difference between remunerative price for farm produce. Now, see, MSP we talk about when like farmers go to Food Corporation of India, sell their crops, and they get a minimum support price, right? Okay. Now, remunerative price is something like when sugarcane owners or sugarcane mill owners, what they are paying to this sugarcane, growing people. So that is a remunerative price, right? Minimum support price is if you're selling your things and you're not getting the desired, value for it, go to FCI, sell them, and then whatever price they are giving you, that is a minimum support price. Similarly, in remunerative price, we generally associate remunerative price with sugar mill owners. Whatever they are paying to these sugarcane growing peasants, that is remunerative price. Again, if you know more about it, do tell me about it, because I have to Google a lot about these things. These are very critical terms, so you need to understand it. Okay. Now the thing is, what we're talking, that we have to increase remunerative price which farmers are getting for their produce, and it requires removal of old regulations and restrictions on agriculture to enable creation of a liberalized environment for investment, trading and marketing. Now, agrarian distress will be addressed much better if states undertake and sincerely implement long pending reforms in agriculture sector with urgency. See, farming community comprise a very large proportion of population, right? So that's why that is a populist lobby, and it is considered as a holy cow. Nobody wants to touch them. Nobody wants to tax the rich farmers, right? And Vivek, the Devroy committee has proposed that we should tax the rich farmers. So there are different reforms which has been proposed, but nobody is implementing it because of the vote bank politics. Okay, now let's move on to ONGC and HPCL. So HPCL is being merged with ONGC, but it is premature to celebrate consolidation of ONGC and HPCL. ONGC is buying government's 51% stake in HPCL, right? Now, ONGC is a Maharatna company. Maharatna is the highest level, right? Maharatna, Navratna, and Mini Ratna. You can Google about them, right? So ONGC is a Maharatna company, but ONGC is also suffering from lots and lots of issues. Now, CAG, what is CAG? That is Comptroller and Auditor General. So they have exposed various inefficiencies in ONGC in last few years. Also, ONGC's profits have dropped significantly over the years. So these are the issues which are confronting ONGC. Now, there are concerns whether ONGC will benefit from HPCL's efficient work culture or end up diluting it, right? ONGC is so big that there are lots and lots of good aspects regarding ONGC. They are the chief oil exploration company in our country, right? And they are going abroad as well, right? ONGC Videsh, we have heard about it, but still they're suffering from lots and lots of issues. In certain aspects, HPCL is much better. They have better efficient work culture than ONGC. So that is the concern of the author, whether HPCL efficient work culture will be diluted after merging it with ONGC. Okay, now let's move on and let's talk about some other topics. So the other topics are urbanization and conservation. So there is a talk going on, and why is that talk going on? Because of a particular act. Now see, since there is an act involved in this particular article now, so you can keep it in GS paper 2 also in government policies, and you can keep it, since it is related to urbanization over conservation, so you can keep it in environment also. So there will be certain portions which will be overlapping in GS paper 2 and paper 3, similarly in paper 1 and paper 2, or paper 1 and paper 3. We'll talk about it. So now let's talk about this urbanization or conservation debate, right? So there will be 3 views. So let's see what are those 3 views saying about urbanization and conservation. So the first view is saying that Cultural Ministry is talking not of cultural heritage but of roadways, railway tracks and private landed interests. So they are saying that ironically Means culture ministry should talk about culture heritage, right? But they're saying that instead of being interested in culture heritage, they're more interested in building roadways, railways, and all these private landed interests. Okay, now the thing is, there are certain amendments proposed. There are not too many amendments. There's one significant amendment which is proposed in AMA-SR Act 1958. What is AMA-SR Act? AMA-SR Act stands for Ancient Monuments and Archaeological Sites and Remains Act 1958. So they are saying that there was a restriction that around of 100 meter. So they want to get away of, they want to remove that restriction of 100 meter. Okay, there was a prohibition zone of 100 meter that nothing could be done around that 100 meter around protected national monuments. So they want to get rid of that particular prohibition. So let us propose amendment to Ancient Monuments and Archaeological Sites and Remains Act 1958 to do away with prohibited zones around protected national monuments whenever it chooses to do so for some supposed public purpose. It's not like for everything. Whenever there are certain public purpose, so they will get rid of this 100 meter restriction zone. Now this is the first view. So the first view was actually taking a dig at culture ministry, right? Now let's talk about the second view. Second view was saying that we are not facilitating exchange of ideas. So they are saying that forget about archaeological monuments. Right now there should be intermixing of ideas between these people. Regions have to evolve their own charter and engineering codes. So they are saying that there should not be a single rule for a diverse country like India. Each region should evolve their own engineering and charter codes. And it has to be a politics of culture represented by people who have a feel for the city, its history and cultural heritage. So again, it's all jibber jabber, where they are saying that cultural heritage are important, archaeological monuments are important, but mixing of ideas are also important. Now, let's talk about the third view, which is the center view. Now, center view is saying that no one has empowered the present generation to endanger our heritage holding over centuries, right? Okay, so they are saying that this heritage, there was a very interesting quote which I read 1 or 2 days ago, that our history does not begin at Harappa or Mohenjo-daro. It began billions of years ago. And how can we cherish those history or those heritage of ours? By preserving these cultural heritage, these cultural monuments, right? So the center author, the third view, is saying that are 100 meters too much to plead for? We're just talking about 100 meter prohibition zone, dude. Don't get rid of this, right? Because that will ensure the protection of these heritage, these monuments. Okay, now let's talk about digital policy making powers. So again, what is happening? We have talked about Facebook and net neutrality and all those things, right? So digital policy making powers is very important, right? Each country should protect the digital policy making powers and should not succumb to the pressures of other countries, right? So India must not succumb to global digital trade paradigms and rules that back predatory business by accepting free global flow of data and sacrificing its digital policy making powers and sovereignty. We have seen in the case of Facebook, right? That was a predatory business which they were doing, right? They were allowing certain certain websites and they were not allowing other websites, right? Certain were free, others were not free. So that was actually an example of predatory business to a certain extent. Okay, so again, the thing is that this is the small article. They're just saying that every country should protect their digital policy making powers, especially India, and sovereignty, right? We have to take each case and we have to treat each case on a case by case basis, right? Whether it is violating certain principles or not. Okay, now let's talk about narcotics battle, right? Now see what is happening when you're purchasing any drugs and you go to a store. So there are certain things which they say that they cannot give it to a child or something like that. But what happens when you purchase something on web, right? Online, right? There's no such rules, right? So what is the actual need? The need is to monitor such drugs purchased on web or internet, right? Because the next narcotic battle will be online, right? So that is the whole thing. So again, I will stop here only. In the next class, I will try to cover all the topics and then I will move on to GS Mains paper 1. And after that, I have a lot of plan. And one more thing, yeah, if you have any doubt, you can just mail me. You can message me also. You can mail me at istheultimatedream@gmail.com, right? And also one more thing. See, the thing is, if these videos are helping you, it's great. Even if these videos are not helping you, even then share it with others, right? Because maybe it will help them, right? So again, thank you. God bless you all.